Star Wars. Rumored Boba Fett director James Mangold warns fan backlash will result in generic films by hacks. I guess you don't get out much, James, do you? How's it going, everybody? This is Phil, and it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We got this. It's another day. It's another director with something to say. This one happens to be James Mangold. I don't believe he was being trolled or anything. He just kind of offered up advice. And here we have, whenever I do read these articles and there's a video up front, I like to kind of pause it on a classic scene if I can. I just think it makes for some nice imagery. Jabba's Palace is one of the greatest classic scenes in the original trilogy. That whole thing is basically George Lucas going back and doing the original Star Wars cantina scene justice, going back on a higher budget, getting all the creatures and all the puppets, and everything he really couldn't achieve on the shoestring budget that he did with the cantina, and just kind of going in here and making it right for himself. Although, we all love the original cantina scene. I don't think anyone would debate that years later. So let's get rocking and rolling with this article, shall we? And here we go. The community of Star Wars fans is known to be loving and inclusive. Yes, please, come on in. The water's fine. With fans often embracing strangers who have found a connection to the galaxy far, far away. Sadly, that community has become increasingly toxic. There's our favorite buzzword for the media over the years, resulting in a vocal minority of fans focusing on what they hate about specific chapters in the saga instead of focusing on what they love. Well, give us more of what we love, and we won't focus on what we hate. James Mangold, who is rumored to be developing a Boba Fett film, took to Twitter to warn fans of the dangers of their harassment. So James took it upon himself, without anybody asking him, to offer up a public service announcement for the fans, which is, very, very kind and generous of him to do. I'm all about generous people. So you can see here's the tweet. All right, and it repeats down here, so I'll read it as a part of the article. The filmmaker didn't specifically cite any franchises, though he confessed, at the point when work, writing, and directing big franchises has become the emotionally loaded equivalent of writing a new chapter of the Bible, with the probable danger of being stoned or called a blasphemer, then a lot of bolder minds are going to leave these films to hacks and corporate boards. I would think bold minds with a firm understanding of why the films that were produced under George Lucas worked won't cower and slink away like Jake Skywalker, on an island. I think they would relish the opportunity to get in there and make a great Star Wars movie because they get it, and they're truly fans. Somewhere out there are the Russo brothers of the Star Wars universe. All right, and maybe that's D&D. Who knows? That's yet to be seen. We know it certainly wasn't Rian Johnson, and allowing him to continue on with his own trilogy is a bad business decision at this point. The man, he's clearly a liability, much in the way Kathleen Kennedy is. And even if each movie in his trilogy manages, by some miracle, to squeak out $1 billion globally at the box office, I guarantee you're leaving money on the table, and those movies could have made hundreds of millions of dollars more. It just doesn't make sense in this instance to allow something like that to happen. He's got to go, and he'll find work elsewhere. Nobody needs to worry about him continuing to direct. He'll find something. He could do some art house flicks or some rom-coms or whatever the hell he let him do a Looper sequel if that's the case. he'll find work eventually, and nobody's crying because Rian Johnson will be out of a job as far as it relates to Star Wars. With Mangold having directed Logan for the X-Men universe, it's clear he wasn't limited in his comments to one franchise, though a follow-up tweet drew a direct connection to Star Wars and the reactions to The Last Jedi. In the case of Rian Johnson and Chris McQuarrie, I assure you these cats are not owned. They actually fight your battles behind the scenes, Mangold replied to a fan who claimed that studios had begun hiring hacks. Listen, whether or not these cats are fighting our battles behind the scenes is debatable. Chris can get a pass, in a sense, since he hasn't stepped into Star Wars as of yet, but he doesn't seem to want to be bothered at this point anyway. So, who really cares what he fights for? As far as Rian Johnson is concerned, his sensibilities have proven to be completely out of whack in regards to Star Wars. And if he fought for what we got in The Last Jedi, well, then I wish he would have lost a lot more of those battles behind the scenes. From what I can tell, the only one fighting for what the fans wanted was Mark Hamill, not Johnson. And if Johnson had to fight for what we got and the suggestions he fought against were even worse, then they need to launch a tactical nuke aimed directly at the Lucasfilm story group and clean house this very moment. September, is too far away, quite honestly, as far as I'm concerned. So let's see. The debut of The Last Jedi brought unexpected reactions of hatred from a subset of Star Wars fans who took it upon themselves to share their anger and personal insults with the film's cast and crew on social media. Again, I don't think the majority of us are on board with this type of behavior. That's a small subset of our perceived, quote-unquote, subset of fans that are fighting this battle. Writer-director Rian Johnson knew when to refrain from conversation and when to engage. What? No, he didn't. Who is this again? Patrick, come on. You've been writing these articles for. I've done a few of your articles. Stop it. You're out of your mind with that. Where the hell are we? I lose my place. I lose my mind with a statement like that. Look, no, he didn't. He didn't stop engaging. He can't help himself but to engage at this point. Hey, Ryan, fans are upset about the destruction of Luke Skywalker.
Engage.
Hey, Ryan, Kelly Marie Tran took down her Instagram account.
Engage.
Hey, Ryan, fans want to remake The Last Jedi.
Engage.
Hey, Ryan, Chris McQuarrie is talking to fans about SJW politics forced into Star Wars.
Engage.
This guy has the Twitter equivalent of Asperger's syndrome at this point. Come on, who are we fooling here? It makes me crazy. Actress Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose Tico, ultimately deleted her social media channels after months of being the victim of racist and sexual insults. And look, I feel bad if Kelly Marie Tran had to deal with idiot trolls. That's absolutely unfair to her, having to deal with the fallout of the decisions made, by this round-headed boob. But she at least had the wherewithal to take the high road and remove herself from a distressing situation, instead of feeding the trolls. It's something she shouldn't have to do, unfortunately. But cutting off the poison by taking down her Instagram is a simple solution that effectively spared her a bunch of unnecessary BS. Johnson should take a page out of her playbook. Really. Recently, Mission Impossible Fallout director Christopher McQuarrie claimed he was cured of his desire to direct a Star Wars movie due to the amount of negativity in the fandom. Congratulations again on your recovery, Chris. Prior to Johnson's film, one of the most controversial topics among Star Wars fans was the prequel trilogy. with many fans of the original films being disappointed with its chronological predecessors. Most notably, the comedic character Jar Jar Binks regularly took the brunt of the criticism for his goofy demeanor, striking a contrast to the more serious elements of the saga. Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing within the fan community for years before The Last Jedi came and made those movies look like Citizen Kane compared to The Last Jedi. Bing's actor Ahmed Best recently confirmed that due to the endless amount of negativity he suffered for his portrayal of the character, he contemplated suicide. Which again, I went into that yesterday, and we're happy that Ahmed Best was able to come out at the other end, and find a new lease on life, and kind of get his feet back underneath him and move forward. So we're all happy for Ahmed Best. I think all fans, regardless of what side of the aisle you fall on with Star Wars or The Last Jedi, prequels, sequels, original trilogy, we're all happy for Ahmed Best. Whether or not Mangold's comments were meant as a reflection of behind-the-scenes knowledge he gained about his rumored Boba Fett film and the direction he was planning to take, or merely his own opinion on fan backlash, is unknown. It's a mystery box, as JJ would like to say. The status of Star Wars spin-off films is currently a mystery. There we go. With conflicting reports claiming they have been halted indefinitely, while other reports claim they're being developed as planned, and then other reports claim they've all been canceled, but then reports the following day say they're back on. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. So look, stay tuned for details about the rumored Boba Fett film. Okay, well, I mean, let's put it over here, and I guess it's time for some closing arguments and thoughts on this topic. So, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, if you will,
Take us out of here. Engage.
Well, I mean, look, there's a vocal minority within the minority that seem to be stirring shit up and giving people something sensational to write about, on all of the shill media sites. I would say the majority of us within this minority have become increasingly frustrated as opposed to toxic over the last several months. If our collectively strong opinion that your product sucks, and we finally see through your perversion of our beloved franchise to push your SJW agendas and political ideologies, if that opinion offends the powers that be over at Lucasfilm, and you're not willing to own up to it or admit to mistakes made in The Last Jedi, and instead double down on what you're doing and allow people directly involved with Lucasfilm to attack the fans who are essentially your customers, if you want to label a large portion of your customer base as toxic and be so arrogant as to think we can't affect change or make a difference at the box office, well, that's on you. We as fans won't allow you to keep shit in the bed and then allow you to get salty with us when we don't come through and wipe your collective asses for you. Okay? December 2017 was only several months ago, and there was still plenty of goodwill to be found, and people were excited as hell for The Last Jedi. When I bought out a theater for a private screening opening night, I walked up and down the line of friends and family waiting to go into that theater and greeting people, and the excitement and electricity in the air, the look of anticipation on the faces of people eager to see what was in store was fantastic, and that's all been squandered now, and for what? For Rose Tico and Holdo and animal activism and Mary Sue's and emasculated male characters, embarrassed legacy characters, and a complete destruction and mishandling of the number one character in the entire franchise. Okay, regardless of who your favorite character may be, Luke Skywalker is the guy. Okay, he's the flagship character of the Star Wars universe. Or he's Mickey Mouse as it relates to Star Wars, and everything he stood for, everything people wanted to see him be, was taken away and destroyed in that movie. All right, now that would be like Warner Brothers announcing a new Matrix trilogy and confirming Keanu Reeves, Neo, would be brought back in a mentor / Morpheus type of role for the next generation of characters. Yet we only catch a glimpse of him in the first movie. All right, and then in the second film, he's a grumpy old coward that never answers the call to be a hero. He wants nothing to do with the new protagonist, and he never engages in combat. Showing how advanced his mastery of the Matrix has become since we last got to see him on screen. And then on top of that, we get blatant attempts to force unnecessary political agendas and ideologies into the movie instead of quality storytelling, that enhances and enriches the established mythology. I don't know about you, but I feel ripped off. That's a total bait and switch con job to get asses in seats, because they think the Matrix brand, is enough to get people to open their wallets regardless of what they vomit onto the screen. And I guarantee that shit wouldn't fly. Regardless of what race or skin color or agenda the new hero would end up being, none of that matters. A ripoff is a ripoff. And people will be sure to call Warner Brothers out on their bullshit if they think fans will just lap up anything they serve, because we're so starved for franchise continuation that is too big to fail. All right, and that's exactly what happened with Star Wars, and that's why we're at the place we find ourselves now. So, that's it. I mean, what do you guys think? Is this a strategic move on James Mangold's part to get out ahead of the fan backlash before he actually takes official duties as a director, or is there something more there? And is it possible that he truly cares about this franchise as a fan and wants to see it thrive again? He was widely praised for Logan by fans and critics alike. So he does have a certain level of geek credibility that, maybe he thinks can help to smooth things over and right the ship. And if he's taking that kind of initiative, then I applaud him for that. I'm of the argument that if you get the franchise, if you get it, not if you get it to direct, but if you get the franchise and what makes it work, and you respect the characters and delivered a solid story devoid of forced agendas and political pandering, then you'll be embraced and celebrated for delivering a quality movie that's worthy of the Star Wars brand. Look, thanks to everybody for watching. And please feel free to like and comment down below. And if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to my channel and giving that little bell a click so you can be notified next time I post a video. Oh, and before I forget, I'd just like to give a special shout out to one of my subs, System Error. He's been an active participant on this channel as it slowly grows, and took it upon himself on the 4th of July to give me a plug on another channel by the name of Odin's Movie Blog, as he was doing a live stream for hitting 1,000 subs himself. So I just wanted to say thanks, buddy. I am extremely grateful for your generosity, thoughtfulness, and active participation here on my channel. And that being said, I'm also very appreciative of all my subscribers I've managed to get so far, and everybody who takes the time to watch and comment. I am truly grateful and appreciate that. I'll put a link to Odin's movie blog down below. Check him out. I've seen a few of his videos now, and he seems like a great guy with an awesome personality that's in tune with everything this part of the fandom stands for. Very likable person, in my opinion. So until next time, be happy, be safe, be healthy, and have a great day, guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.